of you. This is 11th class biology, chapter 5, morphology in flowering plants, and this is our lecture number 2. In today's lecture, we will discuss about stem, functions of stem and modifications of stem, and after that about the leaf parts and venation. Let's start with the stem. These are some characteristic features of stem. So stem is ascending part of the excess bearing branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. Okay, all these parts are present on the stem of plant, right? And from where the stem arises, it develops from plumule, part of embryo. As you know, inside the seed, embryo is present, and when the seed germinates, that embryo give rise to the root and shoot. Okay, now plumule part of the embryo develop stem and the radical part develop root. Okay, so stem arise from plumule part of the embryo that is present inside the seed. Next is stem bear nodes and internodes. As you can see here in this stem, the region from where leaf arise, okay, this region from where this leaf is arising is called node, and the portion between two nodes, this is the second node from where second leaf is arising, and this is the third node from where this leaf is arising. Okay, and this portion between two nodes is called internode, right? Region of the stem where leaves are borne are called nodes, while the internodes are the portions between two nodes. Okay. Next feature is a stem bear buds. Now what is bud? A condensed shoot having a growing point surrounded by closely packed immature leaf. Okay, so a growing point surrounded by immature leaves is called bud. As you can see here, this is the growing point of the plant, okay, and it is surrounded by the immature leaves, and this is called bud, right? Now these buds are of two types, axillary buds and terminal buds. Okay, so this one which is present here in the axil of leaf is called axillary bud. Okay, and this is which is present at the terminal position of the plant is called terminal bud or apical bud, because it is present at the apex, right? So these are two types of buds present here, or you can say these are two growing points. Okay, leaf can arise here from the axillary bud, and here also this is the growing point of the plant, means terminal bud or the apical bud. So these two types of buds are present here, right? Our next topic is stem modification. So whenever the stem change its structure and shape to perform a function other than its main function, it is called stem modification, right? In some plants, the stem are modified to perform the function of storage of food, support, protection and vegetative propagation. Okay, these are not the main function of stem. As you know, stem's main function is to bear the branches, flowers, fruits, etc., right? So whenever the stem modified to perform these functions, that is called stem modification, right? So first modification is for food storage. So modification of stem for the food storage, and examples are here like rhizome in ginger, tuber in potato and bulb in onion, and also comb in colocasia. Okay, see here, this is bulb of onion, this is storing food. Okay, so this is a stem modification in case of onion, which is for the storage of food. Second is tuber of potato, and this tuber of potato is also for storage of food. Then this is rhizome of ginger, that is also a modified stem for the storage of food. And this is cone of colocasia, that is also stem modification for the storage of food. Next type of stem modification is for support. So you see here in this picture, these are stem tendrils. Okay, sometimes plants make these structures, this kind of structure, those are called stem tendril, and this stem tendril can take help of any support near it and help in the climbing of the plant, okay, and that's why these are supporting the plant, right? So these tendrils are actually stem modification to support the plant for climbing over anything, okay. So these type of tendrils are found in watermelon, in grapevine and cucumber also. This type of stem modification is for protection. So here in some stems these thorn like structures are formed, okay. These thorns are modification of stem only, right? So these thorns in some plants help in the protection of plant from the grazing animals, right? So these are for protection. And from where these thorns are arising on the stem? From the axillary buds. You know about the buds, okay. The buds which are axillary buds are present in the axils of leaves, right? So here axillary buds of stem of citrus, means all the citrus plant, that can be orange, lemon, right, and bougainvillea, get modified into pointed thorns. They protect the plant from animals, means grazing animals, okay. This type of stem modification is for vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation is a type of asexual reproduction. More precisely, we can say that vegetative propagation means any vegetative part of the plant when help in the reproduction, that is called vegetative propagation. Vegetative part means any part other than flower. When that part is helping in the propagation, that is called vegetative propagation, right? Now here we are talking about the stem. So stems are helping in vegetative propagation, and such modified stems are called stem modification for the vegetative propagation, right? So these are different types of modified stems which are helping in the vegetative propagation. For example, underground stems of grass and strawberry. You see here, these are grasses, and how the vegetative propagation occur here in the grass. In case of grasses, here their underground stems spread to new areas, and when older parts die, new plants are formed, okay. Here in the case of grasses, okay. So here you can see the stems are underground, okay. So stems are not always aerial. The stems which are helping in the vegetative propagation can be underground as well, okay. And these underground stems spread to new areas and then give rise to a new grass or the strawberry plant, right? And such type of modified stems are called runner, okay. So runners are modified stems in case of grasses which are helping in vegetative propagation. Second type is in lateral branches of mint and jasmine, and these lateral branches in case of mint and jasmine these are also modified stems, and these are called stolones, as you can see here, okay. So these stolones are the lateral branches in the case of mint and jasmine, and these are also helping in the vegetative propagation, okay. These lateral branches arise from the base of main axis, okay. As you can see here, this is a lateral branch, and this arises from the base of main axis, and after growing aerially for some time arc downward. Here you can see this arc downward, right, and then touch the ground, and wherever it will touch the ground, a new plant will arise, right? You can see here a stem is arising from the you can say from the base of this stem, okay. Then it is growing aerially, then arc downward and touch the ground and give rise to a new plant. And such type of stem modified stems are called stolones, and these are found in mint and jasmine. Then third is sucker in banana. As you can see here, in case of banana and also in pineapple, the lateral branches originate from the basal and underground portion of the plant, okay, underground portion of the stem. So from the basal and underground portion of the stem, the new branch is arising, okay. And this type of vegetative propagation occur, and it is found in banana and pineapple. Then here in case of pistia and acornia, what happened? This this is called offset. Offsets are a type of modified stems, and how these offsets are helping in vegetative propagation of pistia and ecornia. These are forming a tuft of, you can say, these tuft of leaves here. Okay, so these tuft of leaves are formed here, and then a stem, you can say internode portion of the stem grow like this horizontally, and from the node portion, okay, you know, in the stem node and internodes are present, so its internode is growing like this horizontally, and from the node part it gives rise to a new tuft of leaves. Okay, this tuft of leaves is pistia. Okay, so like this it is growing. Okay, it is helping in vegetative propagation. So different types of stems like runner, stolon, and offsets and sucker, these are helping in vegetative propagation. Now next type of stem modification is for assimilation of food. So some stems get modified, change their shape and becomes photosynthetic. You know, the main generally the photosynthesis is performed by the leaves. Okay, chlorophyll is present in leaves and photosynthesis is performed by the leaves, but in some plants stem also perform the function of photosynthesis. As you can see here, flattened stem of opuntia, this is cactus, you can say opuntia. Okay, and this flattened stem, this is not a leaf, this is the modification of stem. It is making a leaf like structure. Okay, it has become flattened. Okay, so flattened stem of opuntia contains chlorophyll. As you can see the color, this is green, it means it has the chlorophyll and performs photosynthesis, right? So it performs photosynthesis also. So these are different stem modifications. Now next topic is functions of stem. So first is the main function of stems are to support leaves, fruits and flowers, right? Second is xylem and phloem present in stem conduct water across the plant. Okay, xylem and phloem, you know, these are present in the stem. Okay, and through the xylem water and minerals are conducted, right? And through the phloem food is transported. Okay, so both are present in the stem. So you can say in the conduction of water and minerals and also of the food. Okay, stem is playing a role because inside the stem these vascular tissues, this xylem and phloem, these are present inside the stem, and this is helping in the conduction of water, minerals and also food. Then third is stems store food, as you have seen the example in case of colocasia, ginger, potato tuber, right? So all these stems store food, also water and nutrients. Next function is stems help in vegetative propagation also, as you can see you have seen the example of runner, stolon, offsets. Okay, next function is stems provide support by making the tendrils in case of watermelon. Okay, and protection also, protection in case of bougainvillea and citrus plants, right? So these are different functions of stems. Now next topic is leaf. Leaf is also an important part of angiospermic plants, okay, of the flowering plants, you can say. So let's start. The leaf is a lateral, generally flattened structure borne on the stem. Okay, it is on a lateral side. Leaves are on the lateral sides of the stem. Okay, and these are flattened structure. As you can see, this is flattened structure like a paper. Okay, so these are flattened structure borne on the stem. It develops at the node and bears a bud in its axil. Okay, so stem has two parts, nodes and internodes, right? So leaves arise at the node part of the stem. Okay, and in between portion makes the internode, right? So leaf develop at node and bears a bud in its axil, that is called axillary bud. See here, this is stem, this is node part of the stem, and from here leaf is arising. Okay, from here, from the node part. Okay, and here in the axil of leaf means from where this leaf is arising, just this portion. Okay, this is called axil of the leaf. Okay, you see here, node and bears a bud in its axil. So this axil has a bud. Okay, and that bud is called axillary bud, right? This axil of leaf means from where the leaf is arising, that part is called axil. And in this axil, the bud which is present is called axillary bud. What is bud? Just recall it. is the growing point. Okay, so this growing point present here in the axil of leaf is called axillary bud, which later develops into a branch. Now next thing about the leaf is, a typical leaf consists of three main parts, and these three main parts are leaf base, petiole and lamina. See here in the diagram, this part, this part from where this leaf is attached here with the node, this is called leaf base. Okay, and the stalk like structure here just above the leaf base, this one, this is called petiole. Okay, and this complete part, this complete flattened part, this is called lamina, or it can be called blade, leaf blade. Okay, so this is labeled blade here, this is lamina, right? So lamina, petiole, and here leaf base. The leaf is attached to the stem by the leaf base, right? So leaf base will be here, from where the leaf is attached with the stem. So you can say this is the function of leaf base, right? And may bear two lateral small leaves, leaf-like structures called stipules. So you can see here, just at the leaf base point, these leaf-like structures, okay, this very small leaf-like structure is present here, and this is called stipule. Okay, so what are stipules? Lateral small leaf-like structure present at leaf base, right? Now next thing about the leaf is, in monocotyledons, leaf base expands into a sheath. Okay, leaf base expands in case of monocotyledon, and that cover the stem. Okay, that expanding leaf base covers the stem, right? And in leguminous plants, what happen in case of leguminous plants like beans, the leaf base may become swollen, which is called pulvinous, right? See here, this is leaf base and this is swollen leaf base. Okay, you can see here, this is swollen structure. So this is swollen leaf base, and this swollen leaf base is called pulvinous. So you can say pulvinous is the swollen leaf base in case of leguminous plants. The petiole help hold the blade to light. Okay, now you can tell the function of petiole. What is the function of petiole? It hold the leaf blade to light so that process of photosynthesis can be performed easily. Now next thing about the leaf is, the lamina or the leaf blade is the green expanded part of the leaf, right? This complete part is lamina or leaf blade. Okay, and this leaf blade or the lamina part of the leaf has veins and veinlets. Okay, so you can see here, these are veins, and if there will be any branches from the veins also, those are called veinlets. Okay, so leaf blade has veins and veinlets, and a middle prominent vein which is known as midrib. So you see here, this is middle one, prominent vein. Okay, this structure, this is middle vein. Okay, and you can say this is thicker than other veins. Okay, so this is prominent vein, and this middle prominent vein is called midrib, right? So this is midrib, and all these are other veins. Veins provide rigidity to the leaf blade. So what is the function of these veins? These provide rigidity to the leaf blade, right? It makes the leaf blade rigid and act as channels of transport for water and minerals. Okay, like in us also, veins are present to transport the blood to different body parts, right? So here also these veins are helping in the transport of water and minerals. These are coming from the xylem and are transporting water and minerals to different parts of the leaves, right? So you can see this complete structure of leaf here: midrib, veins, this is complete leaf blade, this is petiole, and here this is axillary bud. Now next topic is venation. And what is venation? It is the phenomena of arrangement of veins in the lamina of leaf surface. Okay, in the lamina of the leaf, how the veins are arranged, that arrangement is called venation, and it is of two types. This venation can be of two types in leaves: reticulate venation and parallel venation. See what is reticulate venation. In reticulate venation, veins form the network-like structure. As you can see here in these leaves, veins are forming this network like structure. Here also, in this leaf also, you can see here, this is midrib. Okay, these are veins, and from these veins many veinlets are arising. Okay, so these veinlets are present here, and a network like structure you can see in both these leaves. Okay, so this type of venation is called reticulate venation, and it is found in leaves of dicot plants, right? Now next type of venation is parallel venation, and in case of parallel venation, veins arise from the midrib and run parallel. Okay, see here, this is midrib, and the veins arising here from the midrib are parallel. Okay, these are running parallel. Here also, in this leaf, this is midrib, and here all these veins are parallel. Okay, these can be parallel like this vertically or like this horizontally, right? So this type of venation is called parallel venation, and this type of venation is found in the leaves of monocots. Now, based on today's topics, your homework is NCERT question number 8, and also write what do you mean by bud and differentiate axillary and terminal bud. Now, this is the homework solution for previous lecture. Question number 1 of NCERT I gave us homework, and this is the answer. In order to carry out some secondary functions for a specific adaptation, roots modify their structure, which can be its size, shape, or even normal functioning, right? This is referred to as modification of roots. So you can define it like this, or I have told you one more definition in the lecture. Okay, so you can define it like that also. Now first is in banyan trees. This is roots develop from the branches, and they go deep down the earth to render mechanical assistance for the tree, right? In the banyan tree, roots arise from the branches, from the nodes of the branches, okay, and they go deep down to the earth and provide the mechanical support to the banyan tree, right? And this kind of modification in the roots is called and such modified roots you can say are called prop roots. In case of turnip, roots are modified to store food, and this type of modification is called a fleshy taproot, right? In case of turnip, roots are called fleshy taproots, and these roots store food. In mangrove trees, like the trees which are found in swampy areas, the roots are modified into a pneumatic structure to provide oxygen to the tree. Means these roots grow upward in upward direction, okay, and these have small pores for the exchange of gases, and that's why these are helping in the respiration. So such type of roots are for the respiration, and this type of modification is called respiratory roots or pneumatophores. This is the answer for question number 6 of NCERT B part. Okay, so there is difference between fibrous roots and adventitious roots. So this is the difference. The primary root is short-lived and is replaced by a large number of roots in monocotyledons. So okay, so in case of fibrous root, primary root is short-lived, and that is replaced by a large number of roots in and it is found in monocotyledons. Okay, and in case of adventitious roots, roots arise from parts of the plants other than radicle. Okay, here roots are arising from a part other than radicle, and many similar type of roots arise from the same point, and these are also found in some monocotyledons. Here example of fibrous root is given wheat, and example of adventitious root is banyan tree. Now this is the answer for one more extra question that I gave in homework, and the question is differentiate taproot and fibrous root. So this is the difference. First is taproot penetrates deep into the soil, right? Taproot give rise to a primary branch, you know, a primary root, right? So taproot penetrates deep into the soil, while a fibrous root is shallow and does not penetrate as deeply, right? So this is the first difference. Second is a taproot is differentiated into primary root of the plant, while the fibrous root is not the differentiated primary root of the plant. Okay, so primary root, secondary root, tertiary roots, these are found in taproot system, but such type of roots are not found in fibrous root system, right? Third difference is taproot is found in dicots, while a fibrous root is found in monocots. Now you can see here, these are the different structure. You need to make diagrams also for the taproot. Here you can see these primary, secondary and tertiary branches, and this is fibrous root, okay, arising from the same point, right? And these are not deeply penetrated.